Unchen de lo naru nang
Maramba
me
me la ye
la
chu
de
je
je
gam
gam
po
po
pa.
pa
Tu
tu
suma
suma
she
she
kya ye
kya
gu
gu
chen
chen
karam.
karamamba
Che
che
she
she
chon
chon
je
je
ju
ju
pan
pan
ze
je
nam tang.
namadang
De
de
ta
ta
tsal
tsal
suma
suma
pal
pal
den
den
du
du
pa
pa
so.
so
Sa
sa
lam
lama
ye cha
cha
gya ye
gya
che
che
la
la
ye ngai.
ngai nyen be
Nya
nya
men
men
do
do
gen
gen
ta
ta
po ye
po
kai
ka
ji
ji
la.
la
So
so
wa
wa
yen de
de
so ye
so
kai
ka
ji
ji
la
la
ma.
ma nam
Ju
ju
pa
pa
yen zin
zen
no ya
no
nam
na
tar ye
tare
chin
chin
ji
je
lo.
lo
Shen
shen
lo
lo
gom
gom
che
je
kang
kang
par
par
song
song
ba
ba
yin.
yin
Se
se
nor
nor
kun
kun
la
la
ya cha
cha
shen
shen
me
me
ba
ba
dang.
dang
Se
se
de
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 ta
ta
che
che
pe
pe
gong.
gong ma chen la
Ye
ye
gur
gur
shen
shen
ba ya
ba
me
me
par
par
chin
chen
je
je
lo.
lo
Me
me
ge
ge
gom
gom
che
je
go
go
wor song
song
ba
ba
yin.
yin
Me
me
nga
nga
tere
tere
go
go
je
je
pe.
pe la ma la
Yun
yun
do
do
so
so
wa
wa
yan de
de
pe
pe
gong
gong
chen
chen
la.
la
Che
che
me
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 gu
gu
ke
ke
war
war
chin
chen
je
je
lo.
lo
Ye
ye
me
me
gom
gom
che
je
ngu
ngu
je
je
song.
song ba yin ka shara to
To ke
be
ngo
ngo
wo so
so
ma
ma
de.
de
Ma
ma
che
chö
te
te
kara
karan
jo
jo
pe
pe
gong
gong
chen
chen
la.
la gom ja
Lo ya
lo
na ya
na
da
ta
war
war
chin
chen
je
je
lo.
lo
Nam
nam
to
to
ngo
ngo
wo
wo
chu
chö
kur
kur
song
song
ba
ba
yin.
yin
Che
che
ya
ya
ma
ma
yin
yin
che
che
ya.
ya chara wa la
Ma ga ya ro
Mangaru
par
para
charave
charave
gong chen
gonchen
la.
la
Kor
Koro de
de
yere me to para chenje
lo.
lo
Ke
Ke
wa
wa
kun
kun
do
do
yan da
yanda la ma dam
ga
Chala
me
me
chu
chu
je
kiem
pe
pa la la
la lo
lon
chu
che
je.
che
Sa ya
Sa
da
da
lam
lam
je
je
yun
yun
de
de
ran.
ran do ni
Do
Do
re
re
je
je
chan
chan
ge
ge
gong
gom pan dun do
sho
jo
karma ya
Karma
pa.
ba ye
No
no
karma
Karma ba ye no
karma ya
Karma
pa
ba
je
ye
no
no
karma
Karma
ya pa
ba
je
ye
karma
Karma
ya pa
ba
je
ye
no
no Karma
karma ya pa
ba
je
ye
no
no
karma ya
Karma
pa
ba
je
ye
no
no
karma ya
Karma
pa
ba
je
ye
no
no Karma
Bai
ba
je
ye
no
no Karma ba ye 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 no Karma ba
Bai je
ye
no
no
karma
Karma ba
bai je
ye
no
no
karma ya
Karma ba
bai je
ye
no
no
karma
Karma
ya
ba
bai je
ye karma pai gen no karma pai gen
Karma
karma pai
by
gen
Kenoi,
no
Karma
karma
by
pai gen
Kenoi, Karma
karma pai
by
gen
Kenoi,
no karma
Karma by
pai
Kenoi, Karma vachano, 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 Karma Karma vachano, 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 Karma vachano. Sangye
Don Soji Chonam La Chanchu Bardo Dane Gyasuji Dage Chushe Gebe Sunam Chi Dolaya Pinchiraya Sangye Dobarayo Sangye Chedan Soji Chonam La Chanchu Bardo Dane Gyasuji Dage Chushe Gebe Sunam Chi Dolaya Pinchiraya Sangye Dobarayo Sangye Chedan Soji Chonam La Chanchu Bardoya Dane Gyasuji Dage Chushe Gebe Senamji Dolai Benje Sangye Dombarisho Simje Damje Dewa Dan Deve Gyudan Dembarai Churche Dongal Dan Dungage Gyudan Dovaya Churche Dongala Mebe Devaya Dambaya Dan Mindal Chagdan Yedaya Dalvia Tanyon Chimbo La Nebarai Churuye Simche Tamche Dewa Dan Deve Gyudan Dembrai Dunga Dan Dunga Ge Judan Tavarai Churchi Dongala Mebe Dewa Damba Dan Minda Varanjur Nyere Chagdan Yedaya Dalvia Tanyon Chimbo La Nebarai Churuye Simche Tamche Dewa Dan Deve Gyudan Dembrai Dongan Dan Donga Ge Judan Tavarai Churchi Dongala Mebe Dewa Damba Dan Minda Varanjur Yeren Chagdan Yedan Talve Tanyon Chembo La Nebaranjur Palden Savya Lama Rinpoche Dagi Kiwo Pede Den Lash Kaden Chembo Gone Jesong De Kosong Tokche Ngodo Zalto So Palden Dorje Changwa Rekin Chabdar Lama Karma Pa Chingor Kunjen Juni Siji Panjur Yidam Dorje Nanjurma Chinle Kunje Chebo Chujong Perche Chamdar La Nanjur Kupe Tsechin Dalme Toge Kyongwarayanze. Good morning, everyone. Third Kamapa, Rangjung Dorje says, there will be uninterrupted experience of great bliss when your mind is free of all attachment. There will be uninterrupted experience of luminous nature of the mind when your mind is free of grasping. There will be uninterrupted experience of non-conceptualized discriminating wisdom when your mind goes beyond all the boundaries. Shenpa mepe, dechen junche me, senze mepe, vese divyoto, lolen depe, meto lunchito, sulme nyamyo junche me barjo. Okay, so now let's go through the book.
excuse me. So, 16, correct? Or 17? 17. Root text number 17. I think we did the 16 yesterday. Okay. Perna. Kaltong sakpe mimpa yang. Deme chiki mimbe tsonam sel. Tejin rang sel. Kechik chiki. Tejin rang sem ösel kechiki. Kalpar sakpe mari dipasel. This we have really, went through many times. Anyway, you will know when I read it in English. For example, darkness accumulated over thousands of eons. That whole mass of darkness is dispelled by a single lamp. This is metaphor, as you all know. Likewise, our own clear light mind instantly displays, meaning wisdom, okay? Wisdom or Buddha nature mind. Instantly dispels ignorance, harm, obscurations amassed over the aeons. So beautiful. I have been, this actually, as you can understand, is saying that, that the solution for our suffering, there's only one solution, and that actually is gaining wisdom. This is what he's also saying. I said this in the yesterday and day before yesterday, but I'm reminding us, all of our emotions, whatever it is, good, bad, ugly, or just normal, where are they really born from? What brings them about? When you really think of that, like I said, it's just a misconception. 100% is born from this unknown misconception, from ignorance, from confusion. Just like the light, it is only through a light or a candle, sun, that can dispel the darkness. Likewise, the darkness in our mind. These are all darkness. It's a very good word, actually. I'm saying like emotions are darkness, correct? We sometimes say, we become a very dark person. It's true. One thing I just want to say, we really want to be very, mindful that we don't go to the extremes of becoming, this very dark, person in terms of will. It's very destructive. Anyone in this world who is doing that can, just generally speaking, we can see around us people, who are creating all this destructive stuff in the universe. Their mind really is in a very dark place, actually. It's very sad. All they can think is their own well-being. That's it. The whole world can go to hell, as we say. I'm sorry, but that's the perfect, actually, phrase. But you have to pardon me to use that word. But it is true. We really don't want to become that person. I'm just saying we really don't want to become anything like that. Why? Why would I become that? So now, not to become that, then we need awakening, like I was saying. It's very strange. I keep saying awakening. Come up, I keep saying watch, but it's, I guess, similar. But we need that, actually. So this is what he's saying in this example of, clear light and the darkness. Any emotion, in many of the instruction, it says that as soon as we realize that, as soon as we notice them, we must try to do something about it. In that very instant, we don't want to wait for a very long time at all. Read Dharma books. We are fortunate from that point of view. You have a Dharma book. You have Dharma to depend on. That is the Dharma for, correct? So why not really read the Dharma books? We don't have to understand the whole thing. When you read something, that 100% is going to help you. So please read Dharma books. So that's what he's saying here in this regard, that, so-called the suffering, the pain, this, in samsara, we are very delusional about almost everything. I'm very delusional about myself, about other people, all that. And this is what creates our problem, actually. Our problem is within us, and the solution for that is also within us. We understand that, correct, now? So like Milarepa and Marpa, they always say that. Why don't you just, really take refuge inside your own mind? Look into your own mind. You may really find the solution there, and you will find the solution there. It's simple. In some ways, I'm thinking it's simple. We just need to persuade that. We need to be very consistent, really. Anyhow, that's what he's saying. So it's a very good advice, and something that we can use in our life to improve our life. Not material point of view. For material, there is no need to learn Dharma, actually. What you're going to learn Dharma, for the material thing. That you have already educated. I'm guessing you all have your own career. You're all educated. But then why you are studying Dharma then? To improve your career? No, actually. I'm guessing you think there is something more I need than these other things. And that may be true, so to speak. So the Dharma knowledge, we usually call the fifth instructions, Dhamma, correct? Tibetan word is Dhamma. We have so many, teachings. Every teaching is unique. Every teaching is very special for some reason. And every teaching is very effective. So there is no word, Dharma word, that actually is not important, that is not, beneficial at all. Because they are nature of wisdom, 100% wisdom. It's all wisdom of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, realized beings. All right. Like here, okay. So we need to focus on, focus. So please do meditate. And also at the same time, don't forget to do the Ngondo practices. They're all very good. They're very important, actually. Not that you must have to do 100,000, okay? It's not like, a rule. It's not like if you don't do that, you will go to hell, actually. It's not at all like this. It's just a number someone gave. We also don't know who gave this number called 100,000, like I said before. Maybe it's a minimum, he's saying, So do what, do practice whatever you can practice, all the Ngondo, Guru Yoga, Mandala. These are the outer support that supports your inner, quality. So we need them. Purification, accumulation of merit. Bodhicitta is born through that. Of course, there's a great purification in every one of them. We know that. So they are very, very, important, effective, something that we really want to, hold on to. All right. So don't forget Ngondo at all. Never forget Ngondo, the refuge, the bodhicitta. You don't want to forget refuge and bodhicitta. All right, moving on. Keho loyi chuji londe temi tong jebe chuji charme temi to londe charme 20 tomde na rangsem jeju rikpa jebur sho. Same thing like I said before. Keho intellectual Dharma does not see what transcends intellect. Okay. Fabricated Dharma does not realize what non-activity means. If you wish to attain transcendence of the intellect and non-activity, cut the root of your mind, ego, confusion, all that. Leave awareness naked. This, okay. This again, it's very true. Okay, this is from the meditation point of view. I hope I can explain it. With this mundane mind, this mundane mind that is nature of dualistic. Okay, with this, there is no way that I can see, I can experience the true nature of the mind. Simply because one is compounded phenomena, the other is uncompounded phenomena. So there is no, link, no connection, whatever. That's why in the last line, like I saying that, now if I truly want to experience the Mahamudra nature of the mind, I need to do something that, I need to generate this mind that is suitable mind for that meditation. So what you do, like I say, is that in this meditation, simply put, is saying you do not need to really conceptualize, fabricate anything. You just sit there. This, like I said, before somewhere, we just sit in meditation and we just let the mind, play, so to speak. And we just let it be. Thoughts arise, thoughts cease, but we do not at all indulge in that. I just try to sit and rest in this non-dual state of the mind. But when one is in this non-dual state of the mind, arising and ceasing thought may be there. In the very beginning, yes. That's why, again, yesterday I said that, the bodhisattva levels, for example, from 1 to 10, or in Vajrayana we have 14 of them, or 13. Those are, the path Mahamudra, yesterday I saw about. That path Mahamudra is not the actual Mahamudra, actually. This path Mahamudra is very similar to the actual Mahamudra. So there's a very, fine line between that. Eventually, when you get there, then there is this thing called blending, actually. It just blends. There is synchronizing, we could say, blending. Not blending as in, the one becomes the other becomes one. There's just very, the whole, the wisdom that you have been gathering, that you have been accumulating, in that very moment comes to, its full fruition, let's put it this way. So there is this complete manifestation of the wisdom. That's what it meant, actually, so to say. This is what he's saying here. Again, from time to time, these advices are really very, very relevant, I would like to think, are also very helpful in everyday life if you can do this. In Shine meditation, there is a term, it's very similar to that, actually. And that term, it actually means you just let mind be. And you do not at all indulge in any kind. You just watch, in this case. You just observe, the arising, the ceasing, all that. But there is no indulging at all. So this is very similar to that, what he's actually saying here, but this is from the Mahamudra point of view, so to say. Like I've been saying before, the reason, our emotions, all that, they grow, they increase and they become more intense is because we are always stirring the emotions, right? The more and more you stir the emotions, the worse it gets, the worse it gets. So then there is no way out at all. Like this example I gave, the mud and the water actually. Let's say there is a glass of water and you throw mud in it and you just let it sit, the mud will go down. Then you can see the clear water. But they're still there together, correct? The mud is there. This is from the Shine point of view. When you gain very proper Shine ability, then this is what happens actually. But still, you can see that the seeds are there. It's just a matter of, condition, meeting a condition. When you meet a condition, then they again get triggered, so to speak. This is why we need Vipassana. So in the Mahamudra, the dust is not there at all. It's just pure water, absolutely pure water. The dust is absolutely removed from the root. There is a difference, but you can see the difference. Shine, you can call it Laktong. You can give any name actually. So these are something that we can use in our everyday life, I'm thinking. That's why I'm bringing it up. Let's see. Yeah, it's here, right here. And these things that I said. Tokpe tima chude tangsu chuk, nangwa gagdo mecharang sarsho. Pangle meper nangsi chakya ro, kunji kewa mepa pakcha dikdip gyong. All right. Immerse conceptual thoughts in that bright stainless water. Do not approve or reject appearance. Okay, that one, they're different. Do not approve or reject appearance. Leave them as they are. Not abandoning or adopting. All extremes like all of existence is liberated in Mahamudra. In the birthless alaya, foundation of all, imprints, harm, obscurations are abandoned. These are very huge, actually. The first line is what we already went through that. So again, meditation, this is again from the meditation point of view, it's just saying that let our thoughts, so our thoughts are like this dust, like he's saying that. Let it sit, do not trigger it, do not stir it, and then it will remain there and it will not disturb you. This is understandable. The second two part is very much Mahamudra. It's actually basically meaning Mahamudra, nature of the mind, is beyond all extremes of rejecting, accepting, abandoning, or acquiring. There is no such thing as. Why we are saying this? Because in the Mahayana, we speak about perfect abandonment, perfect realization. So like the bodhisattvas, the way they gain enlightenment, sangje. So that word actually is translated that way. The way they experience or become Buddha is through these two perfections. The perfect abandonment, first of all. What that meant is, from the Mahayana relative point of view, then there are these obscurations of, emotions, obscurations of ignorance, okay, or confusion. As the bodhisattvas experience, the true nature of the mind, the wisdom, the prajna paramita, just like the sun, they also, all these, emotions, obscurations of all kind are gradually fade away actually. They are gradually removed for permanently. And then the removal of that brings about the liberation. So we call it, the perfect achievement, so to speak. So it actually means the perfect wisdom. But this is from the point of view of path, not from the point of view of result. Here, when he says that in actuality, in reality, there never was a path. There never was an obscuration to be removed. Therefore, there never was something that you gain. Like in Jilama, you may have heard that. It actually says, very famous line in there. It says, to this mind, to the Buddha nature mind, there is nothing to be abandoned, and there's nothing to be aided. This is for us to understand that, because we think, then from our point of view, it's as if that the Buddhahood is, created by the path. It is not. So there's the same thing here. In the Buddha Nature Mind book, the Uttara Tantra Shastra, there are many lines. There are many lines like that, actually. And these lines are also found in many other books. They're very similar in somewhere, sometimes in Tantra, sometimes in this book, that book. Never mind. So he is actually saying that. Again, what I like about this is it's simple. When you reject something, then again, it triggers emotion. And then when that's indulging, and then when you, sort of develop something, again, it triggers emotions. In both the case, this is how we get fixation, grasping, to that. But here, this is spoken from the point of view of, the highest view, from the point of view of absolute wisdom point of view. Like in Heart Sutra, actually it says, in emptiness, okay? In emptiness, there is no form, no this, no that. In emptiness. It doesn't just say that. That in emptiness, meaning that emptiness refers to the absolute wisdoms of the bodhisattvas. To these wisdoms of the bodhisattvas, then yes, there is no such thing as form, feeling, all these things that we experience doesn't exist to this wisdom. Now here too, actually, let's say we as a common people, we may not be really able to stay in the absolute view, but at the same time, we actually really can receive a lot of help from this. This is why I'm actually saying this. All the bodhisattvas, they do not experience this right away, correct? They practiced and practiced and practiced. Gradually, there were many, many achievements. And us too, actually, the same way, how you can do this. Like this, extremes, Lang Tor in Tibetan, it means, Langwa is adopting, Torwa is abandoning or rejecting. This really is the source of actually suffering and pain, correct? Somehow we tend to do that. So we have to learn to, by observing our mind, the habits of our mind, the way how your mind perceives, things, how it experiences things. First of all, we need to focus on that. Then you will come to realize the habit of your mind, your thoughts, your emotions. Each of us, we have our own very, specific mental habits, mental habitual patterns, So therefore, when we, sit and meditate and we try to really, analyze, observe our mind, let's say, then we gain that realization. A help is born from that. We come to know that, these particular habits that you did not early on recognize, brought you many unnecessary problems. And now you recognize that, When you go to a psychiatrist, is that right? I think it's very similar. They also help you to, to look into your own self, I would think. I don't know. I've never been to a psychiatrist, but I like that, actually. I mean, I like from this point of view that, that they at least really help you to understand that there is something within you also, okay? That is also the source of problem. Let's say conditions do exist, but there's also something within us. So here in Dharma, I guess in other things, that's what we are trying to find out. The source of misconceptions, source of pain here and there, all that. So that's why the wisdom part becomes very important. Yesterday he said that, today he's saying that. I mean, Tilopa, all the masters say this, how you want to cut all the ties. So cutting ties is nothing but really, really eliminating or overcoming grasping and attachment. That's what it meant. It does not mean you have to, abandon your family, friends from that point of view. It sounds this way. Like Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, for example, they don't have any of this notion of, grasping, let's say, right? And yet they're here, they help us, they hang out with us, they talk. But in their mind, in their heart, let's say there is no grasping, therefore there is no rejecting, there is no, so rejecting here is like they don't really, kick out someone, they don't really sort of bring someone very close to them. For them, everyone is equal. From their point of view, everyone is equal. Therefore, they are able to help everyone. Whoever comes to them, whoever meets them, encounters them, you receive some help, right? It's a little bit like this, what I'm actually saying from our point of view. All right. Okay, so I will now read forward. Nyemche tsidap mecha keme nyingporsho. Okay. Nawa ramnan lo yi chena sedu chu munta yongro. Okay, sedu chu. Meta yongtral tawi gyalbo. Chok. Mume tingyang gompi gyalbo. Chok. Tachu chokdal chubi gyalbo. Chok. Reme rangdo divu choyino. We had that before too. Anyways. Yes, one thing here, again from the, from the conventional standpoint of view, then, like I said before, we have emotions, we have obscurations, we have ego clinging, we have karma. Now the question is, where are they? Again, from a very conventional point of view, they're different, but here he says, there's a base called the ground mind, the eighth consciousness. So if we accept eight, then it would be the eighth consciousness. But not every, scholar agree that there are eight consciousnesses. commonly actually 6. So if there are 6, then this would be 6th mental consciousness. For me, that's actually more relatable, because when we die, it's 100% true that, that the mind that transit through migrate is none other than our mind, the mental consciousness. Anyway, so here, so this is from, again, very conventional state point of view. And then when you look at this, everything that we see around us, from, that we see, that we experience, even this alaya. Oh, okay. In actuality, when we, let's say, directly, nakedly look into that, then it doesn't really exist. It says birthless, kewa meba. It's unborn. Birthless, in Tibetan, kewa meba. It was never born. It will never be born. Like anything, the so-called, birth, aging, sickness, death. It's all fabricated by our mind, let's say, the confused mind. So alaya is same, unborn. Actually, it's unborn. This, I'm bringing it up because it says that the way we overcome all of these obscurations, there are many types, but I'm not going to count all of them. There are many types because it's more from the meditation point of view, right? So, like he says, as soon as, again, this recognition, this realization that mind is unborn, in that very moment, everything is unborn, correct? The illusion, the obscuration, none was actually born. So emotions are unborn, actually. It's unborn, so to speak. So everything is spoken from the conventional point of view in order to help sentient beings, actually. Like I gave the example of, Chandrakirti. It's because it's habit for us. In the Madhyamika, the Prasangika Madhyamika is, considered as the highest Madhyamika viewpoint, and then the founding father of that is, one of the founding father who spread that is Chandrakirti, Dawa Thakpa, the famous moon. So how does he communicate with people if everything's emptiness and if there's nothing? How would he respond to, let's say, a farmer? Would he say, oh, you doesn't exist, there is no, there is no field, all that? He won't. He would say, oh, you are this person, your face is very good, all that. But that does not mean that Chandrakirti, actually, from his realization point of view, he's not saying they're true. So, like that, actually, from the conventional point of view, it's a little bit like how, I'm not really a father or a parent, but I'm thinking it's how you also bring your kids. You say them some things to help them, even though it's really not there, but you say, you explain them. It's all conventional, correct? You are telling them, but you don't say, oh, okay, kid, from the conventional point of view. You won't say that. You would say, no, it's not there. You just, saw something that was not there, something like that. So you see how we, in our everyday life, when we communicate with people, we actually are doing that. Everything you say is not because you 100% believe in that, or that's your view, but it is important for the other people, for the other person, to help the other person. We can't impose my view onto them. It's not going to help them. I need to know their view, and through their view, then I go about, how to, let's see, I don't know. So need to be very skillful. That means I need to understand the other person's, mental habit, mentality, let's say, or mental attitude, mentality. Then slowly and gradually, we try to very skillfully, we try to slowly, help them to understand the reality, not at once. If you say something at once, they will not believe it. So you need to be very skillful, right? In every field, you need to be very skillful. You need patience, you need to be skillful, and then you also have to have that knowledge, that wisdom to help. So when this wisdom and the skillful means, tapta sharab, when that comes together, nothing can stop that from helping or receiving helping. So this is what this is all about. Okay. Okay. Right. Now, I see. So I'm reading now. Don't be proud and cultivating. Settle in the essence of birthlessness. Where's that? Nyemche Tsindap Micha. Sorry. Cheme Nyingpursho. Okay. Then, since appearances are reflexive, we run out of mental creations, free from all boundaries. Okay, that part actually. These two. It's very similar to what we have already gone through before, correct? The other word we use usually is that how our mind, thoughts, how they color, our thoughts. It's actually about that here. Anger, jealousy, pride, and compassion, kindness. So let's say these are the different colors. They create these different types of colors. And then we get attached to that. In color, yes. Let's say all these colorful things that the samsara, our experience, the universe, all these appearances, these colorful appearances, they are, nothing but really the projection of the color of the mind, correct? All mental habitual patterns. Every single one of them is due to a mental habitual patterns, we call paksha. Good, bad, ugly, anything. So it's interesting, to watch them, to analyze. When I analyze, how they come, from where they're coming, where they're abiding, where they are going, things like that. We don't really find that. We don't really find a source where it's exactly coming from. We also don't find a place where it actually sits, or we don't even find a place where it's gone. And yet, there is this. This is from the time point of view, as you can see. So again, he's saying that all this we should know that they are colored by our emotions. Okay, so therefore they appear very all this colorful from that point of view. But in reality, there is no reality to that, right? There is no reality at all. It seems very colorful, very fancy, all that. But in actuality, when you really think of that, there isn't such thing. So it's just a, mental misconception. Our mind, misinterpret, we can say, everything, correct? Uh, yeah, the way how things appear. Why you think? Maybe because we are not letting it be. Maybe because we are not letting it be. When we let it be, then perhaps we will see the truth. But we become too eager, too anxious, and then we just, uh, fabricate. Anyways, yeah. So there. It says appearances are reflexive. We run out of mental creations. Yeah, it's okay. So now I'm going to read, continue. Free from boundaries and limits is the supreme king of view. We already had that before, correct? It's exactly same. View. What is ultimate view? This is what I said this morning, actually, very similar to that. What Kamapa Rangjon Dorje says. When we become free from boundaries and limits, then you experience the view. That means emptiness, actually. Emptiness is experienced when we no longer discriminate, when we no longer grasp, when we no longer, fabricate, let's say. So as it is, nature as it is. You see, when you look at it as it is, this is what he's saying. It's beyond all the extremes, samsara, nirvana, all these kind of things that we have. Going beyond all the boundaries of happiness, joy, heaven and hell, all these. They are, boundaries of emotions. They create that. But then the Buddha nature mind, the inherently existing true nature of the mind, really is beyond all of that. So that's why the great view. Meaning, again, same thing. Someone who has really, gained the realization of emptiness, they are really beyond, beyond all these boundaries. Absolutely, like I gave the example of bodhisattvas, beyond all the boundaries. Because of that, then the bodhicitta in them becomes boundaryless, correct? Infinite, you can call it, or limitless. Or, yes, the reason their bodhicitta can reach to every single sentient being without exception is because, there is no boundary in terms of, grasping this, that, or anything whatsoever. Yeah. So that's a view, and then it's going to be boundless, deep, and vast is the supreme king of meditation. Very similar, like we have, but I like this word, boundless, deep, and vast. Meditation. Probably, okay. Chupa in Tibetan, it could mean the way how these bodhisattvas conduct themselves during the post-meditation. We have these two things. First, in Tibetan, we call nyam shak. That means, in the meditative state, right? In the meditative state. And then the subsequent moment of that, that's called je top, which is the post-meditation. During the post-meditation time, this is their activity, the activity of the Mahasiddhas, Bodhisattvas, come to sentient beings. And so therefore, there is no boundary, there is no limit, actually, given that, that there are beings to be benefited. But if there aren't any beings to be benefited, then of course, there will be no activity. In order to have an activity, they need beings, so to speak. That's why Chiapa here, when he says is, this is why the vast, like if you take example of Chinesic or any bodhisattva, then, they are going to be in this world, forever, so to speak. At least an emanation of Chinesic is going to be there. That may be a better way of understanding what you think, emanation, but not in a fancy way, not in a very colorful, fancy, traditional way where he's wearing all this stuff, not that way. You never know an emanation can look like or appear, but there will be an emanation, but that emanation not Chinesic actually, one who carries the activity of the Chinesic. I could be, that actually, so to say, just an example. Someone who carries the activity of Kamapa or Shamarpa or anyone, those kind of things. Like Lama Gendra Rinpoche, the story, remember what Kamapa told him, most of us know that. He told him that you, Gendra Rinpoche, is the one who will, who will maintain my activity, who will carry out my activity. So you do not need to worry about anything. Because Lama Gendra Rinpoche, he came from Tibet. He didn't speak a word of English or anything. I guess he never knew something called Western. Yes, for example, Togha Rinpoche, the late Togha Rinpoche, was in Kibi. He told us this story because he was there. 16 Kamapa had told Gendra Rinpoche, you need to go to this place, blonde, blue eyes. So Gendra Rinpoche came out and asked Togha Rinpoche, who are these people? Like, the blonde, yellow. We now see blonde, but yellow hair and blue eyes. It's no idea at all. Anyways, it's true. We have these life stories. And he's like, me, this very old Tibetan monk who know nothing at all from his point of view. Why is Kamapa sending me there? I'm really going to disappoint him. It's like he's 100%, 200%, 1000% sure that he was going to disappoint him. So this is when Kamapa told him, right, this morning, very early in the morning, the whole story we know. You do not need to worry at all. I'm there behind you, like a shadow, all around. All you need, if you have a problem, just think of me. Things will just work out. It's what I remember from that, correct? Some of you may have heard that. So like this, and now we know, now everybody knows the whole, Labost, for example. So like that. All right. Mm-hmm. Right. Cutting extremes, unbiased, is the supreme king of conduct. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. This is the conduct, actually. Boundless, deep, and vast is the meditation, this conduct. Anyways, cutting extremes, unbiased, is the supreme of conduct. Like I said, bodhisattvas are 100% unbiased, correct? Totally unbiased. Conduct is their activity, so their activity is 100% unbiased. There's no being that they would, give up at all, no matter what. Sometimes it takes them many lifetimes to have one particular individual, from the Jathakatas of the Buddha and the Bodhisattva, even Kamapa, says that I came back over and over again for this one guy, for example, like myself, so to speak, again and again and again. When there's that connection, activity appears, vastness, right, infinite. When there is tamtsik, pure devotion, pure view, the activity of this Mahasiddhas will come to you. But we need that. Without that, it's hard. Right. We'll just move on. Okay, without hope, naturally liberated is the supreme result. It's like we said before, yesterday or day before yesterday. It is very true that these bodhisattvas, mahasiddhas, or anyone, they don't really expect anything in return from sentient beings at all. They simply come to this world to help and to help only. They have no like expectation from us. What can they expect from somebody like us actually at all? What can we exactly give them? Nothing. So there is no expectation. But this is from the, okay, anyway, so that's how it is. Jivu, anyways, some very good advice actually. If you want to keep up your happiness, your joy of your practice of any kind, like your kindness, you show kindness to someone. We don't want to expect anything, correct? If you do with the motivation of favor, then it's not good. It's going to ruin the whole thing you did actually. You do something and then you expect something bigger. And then when that doesn't happen, you go, then the whole emotion and all that. We are very childlike, like we say, we are very childlike in some ways, really, no? In Tibetan, we have chipa. Chipa meaning childlike, actually. All of us, we are very childlike, but very spoiled childlike, or a little bit damaged, actually. We are a little bit damaged in some ways, no? I was looking for another word, not damaged, but it didn't come to my mind. We're a little bit messed up. Not entirely, but a little bit. Maybe that's good, because you have something to work on. You're a little messed up. You want to know why I'm messed up, So you never know. Okay. Oh, okay, Duke. Right? Lene tangbo chorung chu tangda pardo chu kanga talchi yo tama chunam mapu tepanda lo men kiwo ngla mene na longki nezung rikpa chula por. Tatang semze yen la tuma yi rikpa ngla mene rikpa ngla mene pardo chun. These are like, each line is like, something you want to meditate on weeks actually. When I'm reading this in Tibetan, really, each line, really I'm like, oh, I can just meditate on that for weeks. But we may not have time for that. But hearing is also good, just like, overall some seeds. We plant some seeds here and there. Okay, so now I'm reading the English part. First, he's talking about calm abiding meditation, when we experience them, how mindfulness and awareness comes about, how our settles thought. So these examples are for that. And so when I read it, then you will get it very easily actually. At first, meaning as soon as when you start like in the very first mental abiding, it means in the first mental abiding, it feels this way. The meditation feels like this. It's like a racing mountain rapids. Why he write like this? There is no judgment. It's like, the example is like a waterfall, and then a rolling stone. I like that. Rolling stone gathers no moss, as we say. No, it's not as we say. Is it Shakespeare? Anyway, it's true. Rolling stone gathers no moss. Like this. Here also in the very first, mental abiding, then it seems like, you have more thoughts, more distraction. Therefore, it's very rough, like the waterfall. That's what he's saying at the very, beginning. Now in the middle, when they settle, this is how it feels like. In the middle, it moves slowly like river, Ganges, any river. So it has to be smooth river, correct? A creek, a river. Compared to the waterfall, it's more gentle, more, more settled. But still it has its waves, it goes up and down like this. Therefore, you still experience, occasionally, you still experience these two kinds of, distractions, the mental thinking and the mental excitement. That because you still have not yet really, improved, you have not really experienced mindfulness yet. So when it comes to the third and the fourth, when the mindfulness kicks in, and then it will become more, gentle. Thoughts settling. It basically is an example how thoughts slowly settle. Not only settle, then these thoughts become very subtle and subtle and subtle to the extent that then they no longer can bother you at all. So this example will be like this. At last, okay, he says at last, usually there are more. Not he, actually, it's also same here. At last, all rivers meet the sea, like the meeting of the mother and child. Right. It's a good example, actually. It means, as we meditate more and more and more, let's do shine and shine and shine. And then what I'm doing, that I'm familiarizing myself to the meditation. You familiarize, and then it gets more and more familiarized. And then eventually, one experiences the real meditation, right? The mother, meeting of the mother and the son. It actually means like, how through vipassana, shamatha vipassana comes about. They're like son and the mother. Like I was saying yesterday, the path is the sun, not the sun, the sun. The actual nature of the mind is the mother. Like I gave the example of Bardo yesterday, I think, right? Same thing here. In short, it's saying that the more and more we meditate, the more and more our mind, gets used to it, and then it becomes our second nature. Second nature and second nature and second nature. When it becomes your second nature, you could see that everything will be effortless. When it becomes our habit, it's effortless, correct? Everything, whatever habit we may have, so to speak. So it's also a question of adopting the habit of meditating. He says, just keep meditating, keep meditating. Don't think too much, don't expect too much, but stick to it. Be more consistent, be more consistent. Mind will pick up, there's no doubt. Mind always picks up. This is what he's saying, actually, correct? Mind always picks up, but it needs time. We need to give time and space to the mind. So you sit down, and don't worry about, today my meditation was great, yesterday was not. We don't want to be so, caught up in that. All is good. Bad is good, good is bad, all is good, actually. It doesn't really matter in that reality. But we must know that, that there is something happening within your mind when we are meditating. There's some is taking place. Let's say meditation is taking place, but we are not yet aware of this. So therefore, we need, when they become very strong, the habit becomes very strong, then, manifest. So like anything else. Yes. If those if those little intelligence cannot abide in this state, it means common people. Common people, at the very beginning, it will be very hard to have true meditation experience. So now, let's say in the first mental abiding, then it gets a little bit better in the second, in the third, in the fourth, so to speak. This is what he's saying. Low man meaning less experience, let's say. Less, I don't know what he said here, less experience. It's true, I have no experience, but I need that experience, correct? That experience. So we are teaching ourselves. I'm trying to, develop that experience of meditating. This is actually a very good word. It's very true. So the more and more you develop that experience of meditating and meditating, then that meditation will be born as your experience. First, you are trying to experience it, but then gradually it really becomes your experience actually at a later stage. So we need to do that, to develop this experience. Applying breathing techniques and cast awareness into the essence. Okay. Through the mode of view, holding the mind and many branches, preserve until you abide in awareness. Okay, these are, all right, very it's really I'm not sure if I can, explain it in the most correct way, but in my opinion, when we are meditating, then there's something called, the way we maintain our meditation. We take the help of breathing technique. So in this breathing technique, there are few interesting techniques, so to speak. It means, when I lose my meditation absorption, then when I, bring back my sitting postures in the very, in upright state, this also could bring back your meditation, one thing. And the other thing is, okay, let's say in a very basic manner, now I'm, meditating and I'm using my breath as as an object of meditation. So when I lose my concentration, then I need to focus more on my breath, correct? And then actually it's more like focusing more on your experience of the breath. This is another meaning of this. Longche, okay. I'm trying to avoid the Vajrayana stuff here, so that's why. Because I also don't know, so I should not mention these things, shouldn't give you wrong information. The other thing actually is also sometimes you like this meditation where you can meditate on the breath, exhaling and inhaling. Probably sometimes you can, use this meditation of holding the breath, so to speak, for a few seconds. You bring it down, you bring it up. Yeah. And then, but don't suffocate yourself. You don't do this. You sit, you breathe in, you breathe up. It's actually here at the navel. This is what I read. I have not done that meditation. There is a, it says that it's more like yoga, correct? So maybe if you are yoga teacher or yoga this and that, probably you know better. It has to do more from the yoga, physical yoga point of view too. The breath is connected with our mind, with our body. And so it's about channels. Tsar long tigle actually, so to speak, and I think something like that in this phrase. So the Mahasiddhas, the way they maintain their meditation is really by working with their wind, we call it long. But this is the subtle wind, the most inner subtle wind with the subtle mind. I'm just saying that. I may have no idea what that meant, but I'm just saying this. But this is again Vajrayana stuff, so it's okay. Someday it may come to you, may not come to you. It's all good. All right? Just for the sake of mentioning that. Okay, tatang, same thing. This, there is this thing, called gazing. Tatang is gazing, like this actually. So sometimes you use your subtle wind, you go really deep, and you control your subtle wind, given that you have that instruction. And then sometimes it's not about that at all. Sometimes it's about gazing. And here the gazing is literally gazing. Like, see this picture of big eyes of some Mahasiddhas, like this. That's a symbolic thing, gazing. Like it says in Dzogchen and also in Mahamudra. It means gazing directly into the nature of the mind without blinking at all. That is the meaning of the gazing. You don't blink. So I guess they don't blink for a very long time if they are in that state of the Mahamudra, right? Gazing like this. Because they are in meditation. So gazing is one thing we use. Again, just for the sake of, seats, I'm mentioning these things. But if you read, the Mahamudra teachings, then you will find more information regarding that, these things. Okay. So preserve until you abide in awareness. Okay. That means just sit in pure nature of the mind, abide in the true nature of the mind with this gazing. Oh, okay, this one is, okay. Leja tena detong yishi chara tabda shera chino nyumbar cho tong rarapa chi chidang dong dangwa neso kyangda lula chab tel Chagchen mena detong yishi chara. That's like above my head. It went here. Probably not very good idea for me to explain this. By having karma mudra, bliss, void, wisdom will dawn. Blessings of the method and the wisdom join in union. Elements slowly fall. Elements slowly falling, spinning, drop back upward, are brought into the places and made to pervade the whole body. Without attachment to it, bliss, whatever. So, the other day I mentioned that there are these different types of mudra, the Dharma mudra, the Karma mudra, the Samaya mudra, and the Mahamudra. Okay. As a result, there are some results. For example, like results are known as the union of appearance and emptiness. This is linked to the Dharma mudra, union of emptiness and appearance, Nang Tong Yer Me in Tibetan. And then it's one of the characteristics of the wisdom, which is union of emptiness and appearance, Nang Tong Yer Me. The karma mudra. Okay, this is a method, And this actually brings about what we call as the union of bliss and emptiness, called Detong Yerme. Again, this is another characteristics, inseparable characteristics of the wisdom itself. So emptiness, the great bliss actually, the great bliss. Leja. It's a method, so to speak. Then we have the Samaya, correct? Mudra of the Samaya, Tamsik. That is the method, if I understand correctly, used to experience union of luminosity and emptiness. Saltong Yerme. Saltong Yerme. And then the fourth one, as we understand, is the Mahamudra, the great Mahamudra. So here what he's talking about is actually one of them, as you can see. So now, generally speaking, the essence of Vajrayana practice, the actual meditation that brings about the realization is Dzogrim, correct? That word called Dzogrim, so to speak, dissolution phase or whatever. And the 6 yogas of Narupa, 6 yogas of the Narupa are, if I understood correctly, are the method to generate that Dzogrim, the highest wisdom. So they take every individual, use these different, let's say, 6 dharmas of Narupa. Like I said, it's really not Narupa's actually thing, but somehow we use it to, generate the, realization of the Mahamudra. Mahamudra, actually, in short, it's the realization of Mahamudra. So, in my understanding, it is connected to this, to the Dzogrim part. So, the Dzogrim is also incomplete without the Kerim part, so to say, because it is the Dzogrim of the Kerim, so to say. Again, but this part really is something we just want to leave it as it is. Don't try to too much, because we will not understand it very easily. In the 3-year retreat, it takes 3 years to do these things. So it's not easy. It's about, overall, if I understood it correctly, it's actually about, so in Vajrayana, we have these fancy things, chakras, the crown chakra, the throat chakra, heart chakra, navel chakra, secret chakra. There are actually more, but anyways, now here it's about Tumo. I'm very shamelessly mentioning these things, but so I'm not really sure if I mentioned that. But anyways, there's something called, unfolding the knots. Chakras are a junction where the nerves are sort of, a little bit, there's a knot. I don't think it's all messed up, but something there. So it's actually about, from what I understood, it says that in the 3 retreat, then it's taught. Some of you may have heard there's something called 4 kinds of bliss. And these 4 kinds of bliss, there's 4 kinds of emptiness. Okay? They are connected with each other. So from the crown, with the power of the heat, they dissolve this, melt it, and then it comes down to this chakra, to this chakra, to this chakra, and there's opening of the chakras. And then at the same time, you will be experiencing these different types of bliss. Okay? So first, here, then here, and here, navel, the secret. And from what I understand, then you hold it for some time, then you reverse it, is what I understood. Then then when you reverse, there is the notion of empty, for some emptiness, so to say, and goes back. And then you just straight, boom, like that. I really don't know what that means, but I read it. It means like, soup comes all the way, and then Mahamudra. and then you send it back. It's what I heard. I don't know if it's, if it is like how it sounds. It may be altogether very, very different, But I'm just saying this for the sake of planting again some seed. But please know, I really don't know Vajrayana at all. I'm just saying these things, throwing these words out there, so you cannot trust me like 100%ly. You can 100% think that whatever this Khenpo said is not true. It's linked with that. Just wanted to plant the seed because Shamro Muche very often told me, I was very often told me in Khenpo, what you're doing is, it's not that, you are directly giving them realization. You're just really helping to plant the seeds. So don't hesitate. He would tell me many times, don't hesitate. I was hesitant in many ways. So Rinpoche would ask me, what did you do? What did you say? These things. And I would say, I didn't say these things. I'm very hesitant. No, Khenpo, you should not do this. It's okay. It's just a word. It's okay. Because you're not practicing it. So you plant the seed from bodhicitta point of view, from refuge point of view. So, yes. Yeah, anyways. All right, that's Omani Pime Home. All right, so yes, I wish that one day we all will experience this state. Tsering takar meching datar gepranjur, tangdang sala topchan singenda, tumo ngudu nyurto, chola jolwarenjur. Long life without white hair, gray hair, waxing like the moon. Okay, luminous complexion with strength of a lion. Common siddhis quickly attained, we mount the supreme. Okay, so generally speaking, when we talk about, these are the benefits actually. Talk about the common benefit, the uncommon benefit. The uncommon benefit is state of siddhi. Okay, again, both are actually called siddhi. Siddhas meaning one who has gained the siddhis actually. So the state of the Mahasiddhas or Buddhahood, that's of course the absolute one. But from the conventional point of view, there are immense, like, infinite amount of achievement that you achieve. From all kinds of miracle to, to pretty much everything. They have power over actually everything from that regard. So that's why he's saying that, if they want, this, again, from very blind point of view, as a Buddhist, so from very blind point of view, we say that Nagarjuna lived 1,800 years. We say Shanti Rakshita lived for 900 years. Okay, so one day, where did I read this? Because we say, what's his name? Shanti Rakshita, I think it is, lived for 900 years, I think that. So one day a Westerner says to the master, Tibetans added one extra zero to this. He actually lived only 90, but then they added 10, it became 900. I actually like that, But anyway, from the inconceivable point of view, in the Vajrayana, in all this, there's so much that's inconceivable. Otherwise, if you read the life stories of this, I very casually said Tilopa, met with Nagarjuna. If you really think of that, it's very difficult to know. Because Tilopa, there's a difference of 1,000 years, at least 900 years. Nagarjuna came in the 2nd century, Tilopa around 10th or 11th. So from the chronological point of view, all that, this is not possible. So I'm bringing it up because of this. When you have a siddhi of, let's say, we call it Chivamepa, deathless, Okay, again, very commonly speaking or casually speaking, you do Vartara or Amitayus practice, and then you gain this Amrit. And you drink the Amrit, deathless. I don't think there's drinking though, but the mantra, I very much believe in that. Be it Amitayus, be it Vartara, be it Namgyalma, right? Ush Nish Vijaya. So Ush Nish Vijaya. Suktur number Gyawa. 3 long life deities. Which one you guys do? I guess mostly we all do Vartara. Stick to that. Or if you're doing Amitayus, that's also fine. So anyway, this one, so you will have no gray hair. You will always have a very youthful life, like Manjushri, we say that. Manjushri, if we say this, if you write Manjushri, you will not age at all. You will always remain as a teenage boy or girl. We always say that. I mean, it's said in the book, Jampo Shunu Churpa, that's like, so I'm like, oh, okay, I must do that. But I found out that's not true. I'm anyway aging. But I did a lot of that practice of Manjushri. I may have got a little bit of brain here and there, which is very good. Otherwise, the gray hair is still there. So maybe I need to do more, of Manjushri. Or he needs to come to me directly, like, whatever they do, what's that magic stick, won't, oh, that thing. We hope that. It's all good. You can hope that. But what you're going to do if you live too long, it's boring actually. 1 samsara, 2 samsara, 3 samsara. Come on, I really don't want to be too long in this samsara. The same stuff. You go here, you go there, you go there. It's just like, at one point in time, it's so boring. The life is so boring actually. That's why you do Dharma, to distract yourself. I must do Dharma. Do it. It's good. You will have merit anyways, so distract yourself. You go to office, from office to home to office, then, whole year is gone in this office and you're home. All you saw was street lights. You didn't really see the daylight actually. Go to the building, come to the building, and then wake up like crazy. So I understand you guys have a very tough life. Life is not really. It's very challenging, but still you made, a point to come to this course. I know it's not easy for you guys, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much from my heart. It's not that I don't understand. Of course I understand. I live in the West, so to speak, but I don't have the... Anyways, it's my friend. He tries to drag me, George. He's my buddy here. He's from Miami. Right now, all he's thinking is beach. All right, so, but it is true, okay, before I go haywire, astray or lose my track. So Ngudup, yes, I'm thinking the reason I brought up the mantra, actually Amitayus, all that is really in my mind, in my thinking. It's very powerful, the mantras, because the mantras are really the essence of the yidam, correct? So you are literally, experiencing the yidam when you are experiencing the mantra. You hear it, you feel it, you absorb it. So then that is the deity, correct? Genetic. It doesn't have to be in a form or anyone. And one reason I brought it up, because here when he says, it's very true that, the yidams that you do really, really guide you in life. I have many of us, not just I'm special, no, really I'm not special, but many people tell you these stories. I guess you guys also have some stories to tell. When it comes to that situation, when you're stuck, It's an awakening. Really, you just get stuck in life, in meditation somewhere, and then there's an opening, in our mind, an opening in the mind. So we could say that is the blessing of the yidams, the practice, the mantra. Also in life-wise, obstacle-wise too. They do their job. Actually, they do their work, very, very fine. So stick to that. Again, don't worry too much. Don't think too much. Okay, really, no need to think too much. What is Zorim? What is Kirim? It's all good. Doesn't really matter. It's just a sound. Oh, what is that? The generation phase, and then the dissolving phase. Nothing matters. Just sit, try to experience. It's all about trying to experience what you are experiencing. So don't get too caught up in this kirim, zorim, dim. Just say the meditation, the mantra, and try to really feel it. Just try to feel the presence of the bodhicitta, the wisdom, Let's say the blessing of your practice. That's all we really want. So always do that. So don't worry about thinking, oh, today, I couldn't really imagine very well, those things. Don't worry about that. It's all good. No, honestly, it's all good. After all, it's just an imagination, correct? It's not real. You're just really fabricating Genesis there. So what's the difference? There or not there? It's not that if he's not there, he won't bless you. It's not that he has to really sit there, in his chair and then look at me and send something. That's not true. That also is not needed. It's all in here. So like Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're always with us when they're here. But when you try to look them outside, they will never be around you because they're not out there. You need them here in your heart, in your mind. Hold it there. Correct. Oh, okay, so I think this is the Tashidili part. Chagja chimbo ne chime ngandi ndowa kalde nyingla ne barishu. Okay, may these pith instructions of Mahamudra abide in the hearts of fortunate living beings. That's the dedication. Chagja chimbo tube wanjo te lopa chimbe shalngane zepa kaje pentita kela tube narope kawa chungin zepe ting lao cho kange cham to te lope songye chagja chimbo dorje tsikang nishu tsaksumpa zo so naropa chimbe shalngane tene naropa chimbe peche lotsa wada jurche gyalpa marpa chuchi lode Champula Hari Jursing Shuditena Papa. So let's go to Pulahari, okay? When we are in Bodh Gaya, let's go there. We may still find them. This completes the 23 Vajra verses of Mahamudra taught by sovereign of Mahamudra Siddha, Tilopa. To the learned and accomplished Kashmiri Pandit, Naropa, on the banks of river Ganges. Great Naropa then taught it to Tibetan Lotsawa. Lotsawa means translator, the great translator. Oh, it says the great king of translators, Marpa Chujilodu, who translated it and made it definitive at Naropa's north. It would be nice. And if not, it's also good.
Thank you, Khenpo. I actually have a few questions, but the first one, with the teachings this week, are we good to go to practice Mahamudra meditation, like the Vipassana?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat that? No, I hear you, I hear you.
Closer? Oh, okay. So with the teachings of this week, are we ready to practice the Mahamudra Vipassana meditation?
Okay. One is always allowed to do the practice. So, of course, you can, do that meditation, but you may need some help with other books. You may want to have other Mahamudra teaching books and compare them, and then try to really understand that. So you surely can do it. But I would suggest that before you do it, you should also do a little bit of Guru Yoga. Like, of course, you do the Bodhicitta, Refuge, Bodhicitta, and the Guru Yoga. But you can do whatever Guru Yoga you're doing. Right now, we say Dorje Changtuma, but you are free to do any other, whichever Kamapa you may be doing. You are, of course, free to do that. Just so that you have this, connection to the lineage. But the Dorje Changtoma is also good because here the whole lineage is there. So that may be something you want to add to that. And then, of course, we never should forget the dedication. So most probably, let's say in a session in the morning, you want to do first all this thing, and then perhaps you want to start with the Shine meditation to settle your mind. Let's say you meditate, or you do Shine for however long you want to. Then there will be a blend because Shine will help you to sort of have a better settlement in the meditation. But yes, you can do that.
Okay, thank you. And then why is it that there is often a warning about the risk of practicing such high teachings? And also before you mentioned that the teacher should make sure that the student will be able to practice. Why this warning? What is the risk?
Right. So that risk may vary. Generally speaking, I must have let's say the karma, the good karma, to particularly practice this very particular practice. So let's say merit. There are different types of merit, but you really need this let's say to practice Mahamudra, you have to have this connection to the teaching. You also need the seed in your mind, in your heart, to practice it. So that seed is what makes you the fortunate one, correct? So, yes, this is why. I don't know, in just meditating, I don't think there is a big risk. But it is more about Vajrayana when you do higher Vajrayana practice. Like, for example, the deities, like Chakrasamvara, Hevajra, all that. Then, yes. But that is not what we are doing here. It's just simply trying to meditate. Therefore, I don't think there's any risk in doing that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the teachings, Khenpo. Very, very nice. Now at the end here, there was completion stage yogas that was mentioned. And my question is very simple. Why are they called completion stage yogas?
Right. Okay, that's actually a very good question. To make it simple, if there would be no kerim, the kerim part, okay, let's say if you were not born, then you won't die, correct? There will be no death. Likewise, you have kerim. Because there's a kerim, then this is the zogrim of that kerim. Remember in meditation, what do you really dissolve? The form from outer to inner to inner to inner, and then it comes to the seed. Let's say tree or whatever it is, the tree. In the very end, there's only tree. And then the tree also disappears. So the seed disappears. Therefore, it's from that point of view, kerim and zogrim. It's kerim, Dzogrim, let's say the dissolving phase. In the dissolving phase, we are really, let's say, dissolving. In Tibetan, we have another word called timrim. Actually, I like that. Timpa meaning also exhaustion. They exhaust and exhaust. The one that dissolves also, timrim. So these are actually linked with the birth and the death, how birth occurs and then how gradually our, existence comes to an end, and then eventually we die. The concept is linked with this Kirwin Dzogrim. But in short, it actually means, we create some concepts, and then in the end, we just remain, we go beyond all that, concepts. So the real meaning of Dzogrim, we can say, is a state of a mind beyond all boundaries, correct? All extremes of samsara, nirvana, Kirim, Dzogrim. So we try to hold that view, so to say, in the end. So that's why always the word called, emptiness in the Mahayana point of view. But from the point of view of Mahamudra, then it is the union of bliss and emptiness. But this bliss and emptiness is none other than a state of wisdom that appears, and you try to just stay there. This is the meaning of that. Yes, so, but, okay. Anyways, that's...
Thank you for your teachings. I have two questions.
Okay.
One concerning practice. So you just mentioned that it would be good to, let's say in a morning session, to do a Guru Yoga, to connect to the lineage, and then in a later session you could do Shine. What would you say if there is days when one can only find time for one session? Is it possible to
alternate? Yes, you can alternate.
Alternate?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
I was speaking, I'm saying that because she asked in the retreat. So if you go to a retreat, then it's given that you will have the whole day, correct? But generally, the Guru Yoga and or any practice and the Shine before can be alternated. Let's say you first just sit in Shine meditation, okay? First you do the refuge, bodhicitta, then you do a meditation, calm abiding, exhaling, inhaling for about 20 minutes, and then you go into the Guru Yoga. That's, if you have time to do that. Otherwise, then you can always alternate all the time.
Thank you. The second question was about, I was curious about the emergence of the Tulku system in the Tibetan Buddhism.
Right.
So apparently, the first recognized Tulku was the second Karmapa around 1200. So I was just curious, why was there no Tulku system before? So for like 2,000 years or less, a bit, 1,500 years. Okay. They managed, the bodhisattvas and the masters, without to transmit the Dharma without the Tulku system. And then why did it appear around this time and kind of like caught up, so everyone kind of started copying?
Right. Okay, that's a good question. In a traditional manner, what you said is true, but in an untraditional manner, there is always a manifestation of a Buddha or Bodhisattva or Mahasiddhas, correct? So the tradition actually appeared after Karmapa, but before Karmapa was always there, right? He was always there. He always, appeared in the world. So then life after, there was his reincarnation. But the name called this was not given, so to speak. Even now in Tibetan, we have Tulku thing, but generally speaking, it's just the tradition. Otherwise, I very much believe there are the reincarnations and emanation of many Mahasiddhas, in the world actually. So but they are not appointed in a very, Tibetan traditional way, correct? So, yes, otherwise, I don't think that there would no, because this word called Turku Nirmanakaya actually exists, so to speak. Buddha himself, first was Buddha himself, and then before the Buddha, the Bodhisattva. Otherwise, we can't explain the Bodhisattva's activities. So they're also Nirmana Kaya, one after the other. But yes, from the Tibetan point of view, the system we have in Tibet started with the Karmapa. But there always has been, reincarnations, because back then there were no monasteries. There were no, I guess there were no particular, let's say, lineage to be, lineage. It was just really the legacy of the Buddha Dharma, legacy of the, let's say, Vajrayana. And they remained, secret. All these masters, they remain secret. They like to remain secret, very discreet. They never show any signs of their realization at all. So right now, in this world, there are many that are secretly there, Mahasiddhas. But we don't know them, so. But it's a good question, actually. I really don't know, but I'm very sure there are, there are some, let's say.
Is it on? Yeah. My question is about the calm abiding. I understood it like that first we start with, I name it an active period, active, whereas when the absorption phase comes, I think up to now that's more passive. Is that correct? Is it like this is absorbed, so it happens, or are we still? Do we need to be put effort in this phase as well, or is it more relaxing, effortless, the absorption phase?
Oh, you're talking about Zogrim? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's see. This is, simply put, this is where we try to just remain, without doing anything, without thinking anything, really. So we just try to be in this state. Given, let's say that you have meditations, since you're doing this, post-meditation, it's like immediate post-meditation, then you really will have some state of joy, clarity. We just try to be there. So without any fabrications or without any thoughts.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Khenpo, thank you for teachings. Can you explain what does it mean, the meditation for the emptiness? Is it the same as Mahamudra meditation? And is it and what is it actually, Shine or Lhaktong? And
Okay.
somehow clarize a bit.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Emptiness is connected with Vipassana and Mahamudra. It's not Shine. Is not emptiness, but yes, the Vipassana meditation is emptiness. And then, of course, Mahamudra is also emptiness. Emptiness as in, okay, like just to again give some idea. So it means one remains in this state of a mind that is, that is nature of wisdom and joy, so to say, without any fabrications, without any grasping. It's a state of mind. That's called emptiness. Yeah, so it is connected to the Mahamudra. Mahamudra is emptiness, and then of course the Vipassana is.
Yeah, thank you, Khenpo, for the teaching. I have the impression, the way I learned it, that there is, in the Western language or in English, we call it Shina or not in Western language, but Shina and Vipassana. But is there in Tibetan a differentiation? Because I think there are the methods to attain Shina, the state of Shina, of calm abiding, and there are the methods to the techniques to attain Vipassana.
Okay.
But it seems in the West we mix it together, we don't differentiate. Is there in Tibetan an equivalent that it's clearly differentiated between the techniques and the result?
Okay. First of all, these are two different meditation. Shamatha meditation and the Vipassana meditation. So the Shamatha meditation, the method for that, as I already said, there are two. One, you overcome 5 kinds of fault by implementing 8 antidotes, or you go through 9 mental abidings. Those are the method, like you said. Then you experience the shamatha meditation of form and formless, just for the sake of that. And then Lakton is, Vipassana is Lakton, and that is called analytical meditation. Meaning, the way it is achieved through analyzation. There are like 4 kinds of mindfulness. So you analyze what are the 4 kinds of mindfulness, and then you come to this conclusion, a very comprehensive conclusion of emptiness, and that's when you hold the view. So that's Vipassana. So yes, there are 2 very different meditation. So the name, first one in Tibetan is Shine. I don't know if this matters. The second one is Lakton. In Sanskrit, it's called, the first one is Shamatha, second one is Vipassana.
Dear Kempola, I have a question about the breathing technique. I am a beginner in meditation, in Shine, and I have been told that it is good to focus on the inhalating and exhaling with cycles of 21, and I have been told, and I would like to be sure I have a good understanding. I have been told that to do it during 20 minutes, 21 cycles of breathing like that. Is it a correct way to start? And I have also a question, because when you focus on your breathing, in fact you don't calm your mind, because you have an expectation about counting. So I would like you to precise this, please.
Okay. All right. So first, regarding the counting, the numbers, are optional, meaning you can do 10, you can do 15, you can do 21, or you can do more. The duration, the timeline is, I usually say about 30 minutes. It means in 30 minutes, when you breathe in, you breathe out. There are many times when you are lose your concentration. So therefore, we do it for 30 minutes so that, you can at least have few moments of actual meditation. In the very beginning, you may not really experience the concentration, but then afterwards, when your thoughts settle, when your thoughts settle, then the chances of experiencing the meditation is very high, so to speak. Now the count, okay, in meditation, calm abiding, then what you said is actually true. So meaning like you will lose your concentration, very often. But once when you do it more and more and more, the counting, then in my thinking, you focus less on the counting actually. You are still counting, but then because you have some experience, so then you are also focused on your experience too. So this can, how it can happen. So therefore you need to give it time. You give time to that. You are not focused on counting actually at all. Okay? You are really focusing on your breath. You breathe out, very slowly you breathe out. And then when you breathe out, like I said before, you breathe out, and then the breath goes all the way in front of you, so to say. And then there's a pause, actually, because you can't breathe that long. And then again, you breathe in, it's fresh. And then it kind of goes all the way to the navel. And then again, there is a pause, slowly. So then again, you breathe out, breathe in, but very gently. So you are focusing on your breath more. Counting, you can do like this, no? One. You don't have to say it out loud, actually, so to say. But I'm thinking, slowly, when you give more time, then it becomes more about meditation and less about counting. In the beginning, maybe it's more about counting. That's all good. Okay, now another thing about this is that also, let's say you do the counting first, it's very good. Let's say you do 10,000. How much did Shamarunji say? 21,000? 21,000 over the time, not in a day actually, over the period of I don't know how long, but 21,000. Then the other thing is after the counting, then we call it following. You just don't count, you just focus on, you just follow, or you just pay attention to your breath, how you're breathing out, how you're breathing in. It's called following. Okay, I think that's actually very good because first we need the growth in order to train my mind to experience meditation. You need this, and now let's say you have some experience, so you don't need the counting because your meditation is becoming more profound. Therefore, now you can, without counting, you can also do the meditation just by observing. And it actually becomes more of observing of your experience of how you're breathing in and breathing out at a later part. So it varies from person to person. Okay. All right.
Hello. My question is, if I practice Schiene, or if one practices Schiene, and then suddenly has a question about one's own mind, not intentional, just a question comes up, is it right to say, oh, now I'm practicing Laktong, or is it false?
Okay, no, not exactly. That's more of a, function of, it's a sign that some kind of mindfulness is taking place in you, especially probably more like awareness. When we meditate, that tend to happen, so to speak. So therefore, it's not Laktong in this case, but it is part of mindfulness and awareness. But when, yes, and then as you deepen that, further that, that can lead you to the Laktong, yes. That is not Laktong yet. The clarity you're talking about. So you can gain that clarity even from shamatha, of course.
First of all, thank you also from my side. The question I have is concerning the right understanding from the word meaning for the two obstacles to calm abiding, this excitation and thinking. I'm not used to the word thinking. Is it the same like the dullness? Would you say you call it thinking? Because in the dull state where I lack clarity, I'm not aware that I'm actually always thinking.
Right.
It's not active thinking. I'm not aware that I'm thinking.
Right. Actually, it's thinking. Sinking, not thinking. Think. So, but what you said is true. Okay. Dullness is the cause, actually, for the mental thinking. Drowsiness is also the cause for the mental thinking. First, we experience dullness. It's more of, let's say, outer or grosser state of the mind that affects your meditation. When it affects your meditation, the one that's directly connected to the losing of your, let's say, clarity of the mind, that is actually called, thinking, or awakeness. The word we use is qinghua, so that's thinking. But there is a connection to that. Sleepiness, dullness. Sleepiness and dullness are actually the cause for the mental thinking itself. Yeah, that is true. Okay, so I think we'll now stop here for today, and we are going to see the dedication because it's almost lunchtime. Once again, thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to teach, on this very precious teaching. So I'm very grateful. And wherever you go, you should never forget that, you have access to the Dharma. Okay? You always have access to the Dharma. All you need to do is look into your own mind, and you will find it. You will always have access to your guru because they should be in your heart, or to anyone for the lineage. They're always there in your heart. So we always want to keep them in our heart as good as possible, as warm as possible. And then, yes, I very much believe that will guide us in this life through the bardo and all the way to the enlightenment. Okay. Sunam di tamche zepa ni tonaye nyepe danaye pamche chegaya nache balaya tupa ye sebe anzole dowa dowari shu gewan di ye kiwo yuke sunam yeshe tsozo sunam yeshe lechongwa tamba kunye tobari shu Menjuro lombo koye tashi sho yanla ya tukjo songe tashi sho tadala teme tukje tashi sho gyalwe koson tukje tashi sho tenpa jikten kamso e chenpa tang tenpa nyewe yindo sewa tenzen polo tarshin jepa tenpa yuring nembe tashi sho. Thank you.